Yeah, Johnson. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, a lot of pollen in the air up here in Johnson, aired out. We are live. And, we have said so many times in so many podcasts that if Vermont is just one big, great community, then it's our goal, frankly, to try to engage community and connect as many different communities that make up our great state of Vermont. And that's why we're up in Johnson today at Jenna's Promise Roasting. There's Andrew right there. He's going to give us a little tour, show us around. How are you, man?
I'm doing well.
It's great to be here, and thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
So show us around. This used to be a lumber yard, right?
Yep, one of the Parker and Stearns lumber yards. So it's been vacant for about 3 years now, up until when the Tetros purchased it back about maybe a year and a half ago. And since then, it's turned into quite a few things between selling surplus goods, appliances, and also coffee roasting, which is what I do.
Whoa, look at this. So that's your job. You're the manager of the coffee roasting.
Yep, I manage it, and right now it's mostly just me, and hopefully I'll have a lot more help in the future.
Wow. So globally sourced, right here in the hills of Vermont, where this is the coffee.
It smells so good in here.
Oh my God, I know.
This is the load that just came in yesterday, so it's 10 bags, fits to a pallet, and so that's about 1,500 pounds of coffee.
1,500 pounds of coffee. So this will get Raylene through about a day.
Yeah, maybe a week.
About a day. Wow, man. So where is it? Is it from Brazil?
So right on top is Brazil. I think there's about 5 bags of just a Brazilian coffee from Cerrado, which is a huge coffee growing region in Brazil. And then there's a couple bags of an Ethiopian in there from Sadamo, I believe. And then let's see what else is in there. There's some coffee from Timor and Indonesia and
Indonesia. Wow.
We're getting this order. There's a bag of Colombian, but I'll take you into where the magic happens.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
This is all just office supplies from one of our loads that we get in from various sources. We get a lot of returns and just big bulk truckloads of anything from appliances to office supplies to, Amazon returns. And then we sell them in the store, provides work for the women in the program, and also gives us something fun to do.
Yeah, and of course we're going to be talking about some of that program today. But, this is where we really start smelling the coffee in here.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And so here's what I'm going through right now. And so this is a good mix. I've got, I use the Brazilian for a base in a lot of the blends because it's got a pretty mild flavor and definitely holds its own. Besides that, I've got a couple Ethiopians. I've got a washed Yerga Chef. I've got a really nice washed coffee from Burundi, a natural process Yerga Chef from Ethiopia, a Java, a Mexican Huatusco.
I love that Mexican coffee. I've had a bag of it.
Oh, it's delicious, yeah.
Incredible.
Really
compliments of Dick Wabi, who's a huge fan of you guys.
We'll have to get you something a little fresher, too. I'm sure that was from a while ago.
Oh, man, it was amazing.
And then right here in the middle, actually, is another Mexican coffee, but it's a decaf, and it's delicious, which is not usually true for decaf.
Yes, right. So are you a coffee connoisseur yourself?
I love coffee so much. So this is the roastery.
Wow.
Fairly small, but we can actually output, technically, 400,000 pounds a year if we had to, which is not where we are now, but it's ideally where we'll get.
Jenna's Promise Roasting Company is where we are, aired out on the road today in Johnson. Andrew's given us a little bit of a tour and telling us about all the things that they're doing and the impacts that they're having, not only on Vermonters everywhere, but also on the coffee industry here in Vermont. Can I walk right up to this and look right in there?
Yeah.
Wow, man, this is incredible.
Yeah, so this is a blast. We got this in 3 boxes from Turkey, and it was, this was right in the middle of the whole, all the shipping issues in the in the ocean. So we had no idea when it was going to come in, and yeah, no, it was great. So we thought May of last year, and I think it came in like maybe late June or July, and then we had to blow out a wall to get it in here, but got it all hooked up, and it's running great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so we can do about 25 pounds to a batch in here at a time. Batches are around, anywhere from 9 to 15 minutes a batch. And
so you smell like coffee every day when you go home?
Every day. That's right. And I usually wear an apron because I've stained so many clothes. Just getting the grounds on myself. So.
You could probably stop working here and you'd probably smell like coffee for 2 weeks.
Oh, it's not a bad thing, though.
No, it's not.
No, it's the best thing to smell like. I've had jobs in the past where I'd leave home smelling like a kitchen or, whatever. Worked at an elementary school, came home smelling like all sorts of things, things, whatever the kids would throw on me,
Wow, man, look at this. So show us around. Tell us what you got here.
So in this corner, this is my favorite corner. This is where we've got our espresso machine. It's a 2-group Simonelli, which is just a really user-friendly espresso machine. And this is actually going to be going in our cafe that's opening, ideally in a couple months, maybe late August. So super user-friendly. Greg Tatro, the founder of Jenna's Promise, and I went down to a coffee expo in Boston. It's the World Specialty Coffee Association expo that happens annually in different places. But we ended up getting a killer deal on this. Ended up saving quite a bit of money from where the grant allocations were. So definitely a good thing. I'm going to be sad to see it go in a couple months.
But it's going to the cafe, huh?
It is going to the cafe, and the cafe is coming along really well, which is one of the other...
Look at this.
One of the other great
I'm sure.
aspects.
And the building of the cafe creates even more jobs.
Right.
In the community and for people within the program, correct?
Right, it does. Yeah. And it also provides, I believe, 8 more beds for the housing for residential spaces for those in the program.
Right.
So right now, in the main housing, I believe there's 6 spaces that would be full capacity, and there are a few apartments additionally. So that'll create quite a lot more space for those in the program, which is fantastic.
So and we're going to obviously speak with Greg about this, Greg Tatro, but the folks in the program, that what we're talking about is individuals that are battling substance use disorder.
Right. And so a lot of them, when they come here, the whole idea behind Jenna's Promise is kind of, the way I see it is that it just creates a community for them so they can feel cared about and, loved, whatnot. Because I think that's a really hard aspect of recovery, is just feeling kind of alone out there. And so this is just this multifaceted organization that provides, clinical support services, residential facilities, everything. There's a workout room, there's community space, there's groups multiple times a week that are just for different areas of support, whether it's, family support, there's family support, there's just individual groups, there's AA, NA, and then there's also, besides a safe place to live and a helpful team of people, there's also the idea of a safe place to work, because right. In Johnson there's not a ton of options, and a lot of the women who come into the program don't have transportation, but just staying busy and having some fun purpose in life is awesome, and it really helps. So there's a few options at the moment. We've got, I think I mentioned earlier about the the surplus store we have, which is called JP's Promising Goods, and we get, tractor trailer loads of anywhere from like Amazon returns, Lowe's returns, or scratch and dent Lowe's things. And so we go through everything, we test it, we fix it if it needs fixing, we donate it if it's broken, or dispose of it if it needs to be, and then we sell it in the store, we clean it, we make sure everything's working properly. And so that provides quite a few jobs. It provides maybe about 5 part-time and a couple full-time. And then we'll have the cafe opening, which is another aspect, and that'll provide quite a few jobs as well. And the roastery, which is my wheelhouse, which will ideally be providing tons of jobs once we get things rolling. My goals, and I think the Tejero's goals, are definitely to expand and get the name out there. Because a big part of it, besides providing awesome coffee that is sourced as best as possible and super high quality, is definitely outreach.
Yeah, that's why we're here, my man.
Yeah, because how cool is it to get a bag of coffee and then get a good story instead of a business card or a pamphlet, So
Right.
and it's like you could give a donation, get a bag of coffee, pretty much. So you're getting something tactile for
And something
doing
pretty
something
amazing.
good. Yeah, and it's not just like charity coffee.
Yes, right.
It's actually a really good product, and I'm pretty careful about my bean selection. I make sure that I source from pretty good places. I've been working with a super helpful importer, actually a few importers, and so it's been.
That's got to be a lot of work all the time. You've got to be constantly working relationships and sustaining them.
Yeah, definitely, but it is a lot of fun. And so over here, I have a sample roaster where I get in samples that are anywhere from 200 to 300 grams of green coffee. And so I get in about 6 at a time, and I can get them, sample roast them, and then taste them and decide, whether or not I want to order a full bag or a few bags. And
This guy's a big time connoisseur.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I love coffee.
Wow.
And so that's really helpful. And then also, it does, save a lot of coffee from going into the dumpster as well, because I can, once I do get a new coffee, and I can profile it out, decide, how much development time it needs, how much, where it needs to finish, and how to get it to where I want it to be with, sweetness, acidity, and just.
Now I see all the packing stuff. Does that mean people can order online and you'll ship wherever?
Yeah, they certainly can. We have a website. It's jennaspromiseroasting.com.
jennaspromiseroasting.com.
Yeah, and so on there we have, it's mostly just our 12-ounce selection, which is our standard bag size.
Yeah, show us that. I know they're right behind me here, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you how many different varieties that you've got.
So we've got a few right now, and I'm trying to keep the stock pretty low, so we always have fresh coffee, because I can always roast it as needed. So right now we've got our 3 main blends. We've got the Divided Sky blend, which is this is a fairly light blend. It's super fruity, sweet, has some really nice almond notes to it, kind of some blueberry in the backbone, a little bit of cocoa on the back. And this one is actually kind of dedicated to the donor of some of our equipment, which is the Divided Sky Foundation. And with that, Trey Anastasio from Fish actually donated the funds for the roaster, a little bit of our packaging equipment, and they also have an amazing foundation that is opening a treatment facility down in Ludlow, Vermont, which is, so it all just happened,
How did Trey find out about you guys?
Well, so trying to open a rehabilitation facility, or any sort of rehabilitation community, is a really challenging thing. There's a lot of hurdles between permits, just town politics and state politics. There's just a huge amount of problems. So it is a fairly tight knit community, and I think that the Tatros with Jenna's Promise and Trey with his facility down in Ludlow are experiencing a lot of the same issues, and so he reached out to them, I believe, to just ask some questions about permitting and those same town politics issues that he was running into. And they got to talking, and he's like, "Oh, I'd love to help support you and like whatever I can do." And so they wrote a proposal, a pretty simple proposal, and then just 3 days later, maybe, I think the same day, he's like, "Okay, where do you want the money?" And he just donated, just about about $44,000 to us, and it was amazing. And so we have named that one kind of like proprietary blend after him, and
The Divided Sky.
right. And so the Divided Sky it's a song by Fish. It's also the name of Trey's Foundation, which helps a lot of people and raised a lot of funds through a series of concerts down in New York City at the Beacon Theater.
And it does take a village, and I think that has to be part of the message, is that what you are doing here is literally creating a village for people so that you can end up helping them understand and be able to be productive members and to have pride in themselves and learn how to work and earn money and use their money wisely. And it's a whole,
It is.
it's literally
it's a community.
a huge ball, if you want to say, that started with 3 rubber bands, and you just keep going and going and going and going.
Right.
And there's so many tiers to the win on this. It's not a win-win. It's like a win-win-win.
It is.
There's like at least 5 big wins in there. I mean, even with proceeds helping Trey and Anastasio's fund. I mean, this is incredible. Incredible. There's nothing but goodness that comes out of this.
Yeah. And
aside from just a really damn good cup of coffee.
Yeah. And
That's just the beginning.
it's fun to be able to focus on something that is kind of like a passion of mine, but also supporting a good cause. I used to work for an elementary school here in Johnson, and it was a good cause, but I don't think it was my calling. And now I actually get to do a nice social service and do something I love, which is amazing. And that's what everybody kind of wants out of a job. And so I'm also trying to provide that to these people in the program and get them fired up about coffee.
So can folks just walk right in here or show up here? Where can they actually buy the coffee?
They can buy the coffee right in here. They can buy the coffee online. JP's Promising Goods sells the coffee there. We've got a couple stores around the area. I know the Morrisville Co-op's selling it. You can buy it at Tucson's Bakery in Hyde Park. And then we're just pushing it out to the rest of Vermont and ideally the country at some point. So, and hopefully the ball will keep rolling and kind of inspire others to do something similar as well. Because Johnson's a really great community because we're so tight-knit.
And I believe the governor just recently recognized that and like a model for the state.
Totally, yeah. Phil Scott's been a really big supporter of the program, as has Leahy and Bernie, and quite a few other representatives who are either, who are current legislators or running for legislature. So, got a lot of good support from people.
This is why we love doing what we do. At Jenna's Promise is where we are in Johnson. Come on up here grab some coffee. You'll most likely run into Andrew when you make your way up here. But what are we, like 10 minutes from Morrisville?
Yep, 10 minutes from Morrisville, 10 minutes from Jeffersonville, right on 15, right on Railroad Street, off of 15.
Ooh, look at the size of that bag. Do you guys sell bulk?
Oh, we sell bulk, yeah. A lot of what we sell is bulk. So we do 5-pound bags to businesses, cafes. We also do compostable K-cups. I ordered, they wanted to do K-cups. I wasn't super on board because, fun statistic, I think something like 30 million K-cups go into a landfill every year. But I was able to find some compostable K-cups that are made of cornstarch-based plastic. So
No way.
That's really cool.
But it's
I was
still-
going to ask you if you do K-cups or if you were going to get into them.
yeah, and so we have a small K-cup filler. It only does 6 at a time, but it's fairly quick. You know, if you have a couple people going, you can bang out a couple hundred in an hour, and so these actually compost within, I want to say 60 to 90 days, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, you have to properly compost though and reach like the necessary thermophilic temperatures. But
Yeah.
so they say commercially, but you can do it at home as long as you know what you're doing. So I've got a compost out here too. So if anybody ever buys them, just know that you can always drop them off, and I'll compost them for you.
How quickly does this building fill up with the overwhelming aroma of Jenna's Promise roasting coffee when you hit the green here?
Very quickly. You know, definitely with the darker roasts, they create quite a lot more smoke, and so
Really?
a lot of that. I mean, we do have a pretty good filtration system, whatever you want to call it. This is kind of a smoke abatement system right here. This is the afterburner, and so what happens is we've got a pretty high-speed variable fan that blows into this, and this little stack right here essentially blows a jet of fire into this cylinder, you know, heating up the smoke to about 1200 degrees, and so on top of the stack, what comes out is just a wisp of smoke, barely anything. But without it, it's a huge plume of smoke. So it is cool. And like, so just, you know, relatively speaking, this machine only really gets up to like, I think I bring it up to maybe like 450 degrees on our thermocouples. They read, you know, they all read a little different. So on another machine might go up to 460 or something, or whatever, 470, and so then that gets blown to 1200 degrees. So
How do you get a big bag of coffee up there?
buckets.
Really?
I just get on my tippy toes and yeah, because I only put 25 pounds in at a time, so I can. This will actually hold 25 pounds, even though it doesn't look too big, and so I just get up there and dump it in.
I'd need like an 8-foot ladder.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a step stool for.
This is incredible, man. So when is the cafe opening?
Ideally, the cafe will open towards the end of August. Things are looking really good over there right now. They have done so much work to the inside. They've
Sure.
well, they put a whole extension on the back and then redid the kitchen. They added a spot for a small bakery in the back, and I don't know. I mean, probably not a lot of people have been in the back of that cafe for what it used to be, but there was absolutely no space. It was in need of a lot of repairs, a lot of rehabilitation, and through some really amazing grants, they, Jenna's Promise, have gotten a lot of work done. So
Yeah.
they've blown down walls. Most of it's been re-drywalled, painted, and you know there has been a lot of work with the Johnson Historical Society, making sure that everything stays similar to the aesthetic of the town. So
Wow.
it's been a lot because definitely like getting the old paint off, and there's a lot of fun scalloped trim and stuff to paint. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
oh, it's looking really good, and they're gonna have a killer espresso machine, which is again gonna be a very sad day for me.
Yeah, right. Now, and you'll be over there at the cafe, yes?
No, I will not.
You'll be here roasting.
I'm just managing the roastery because this is definitely going to take off, and we'll be outputting quite a bit of coffee. So an average cafe, I mean, statistically in the city, I think could use anywhere from like 50 to 300 pounds of coffee a week, which is wild. Here in Johnson, I'm probably assuming that cafe will use maybe around 50, 75 pounds a week. It all just depends, but there is quite a lot of traffic on the 15, and so you look at that and you end up getting 20 cafes, or you need to hire some people. So.
And hopefully people come to support the cause as well. That it becomes something that it's great coffee, but a great cause.
Well, look at Dick Wabi.
Worth stopping for sure.
He comes all the way up here from Central Vermont just to get coffee.
I know when he was saying that, where you could get the coffee. I was going to say in the back seat of Dick's pickup truck as well.
That's true.
I swear to God, he carries that stuff around, and he always has 2 red Solo cups going at the same time of it.
Yeah, that must be his thing. Yeah, because I first time I met him was at the AGC convention this time, and he did have that same Solo cup.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, he gave JD one too.
Drinking water out of it, drinking coffee out of it.
Especially, it was. He said that was the special Jenna's Promise cup or coffee. Yes.
Well, let's talk with Greg. Let's see where he is.
Yeah, let's go find him. He told us to look him up.
Let's go find him.
What he's up to.
We'll bring you over there.
That's always fun.
Here, Jenna's Promise Roasting in Johnson. Globally sourced coffee. Oh yeah, look at that. Guatemala. Man. All right, thank you very much. We're coming through the back entrance here.
Well, we'll definitely stop by for a cappuccino on the way out. Can't miss that.
Oh yeah, man. Look at this. I'll let you guys go first. Look at all this coffee. JennasPromiseRoasting.com is the website. And we're lucky that the internet is cooperating with us.
Stop by for a
cappuccino.
Where?
Right back in there.
Oh, right back in there.
Yeah, right before you take off. I have the espresso machine turned on, so.
There you go.
If you'd like any drink before you take off, more than happy to make
And so over here, this is all the construction side of things in this building?
No, this is all appliances actually. So
yes, I heard about the appliances.
Yeah, so this is everything from fridges to dishwashers, washing machines, dryers, all the big appliances. Right
And you go through them, fix them
make
if
sure
need
they're
be.
all tested. Most of them are just scratch and dent. So, you go to Lowe's and they have that whole scratch and dent section. A lot of times they get sent here, and with all the supply chain issues this year, there's been a lot of times where we've actually had a better stock than some of those places like Lowe's or Sears, because they're having trouble getting things and they're selling us their scratch and dent from another supplier. So
Right.
it's actually been really great, and most of the marketing's just been word of mouth. People come in on the weekends. It's open Thursday through Saturday, I believe 10 to 5, and a lot of good deals to be had here.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just about everything.
So this all used to be a lumber yard.
All used to be a lumber yard, yeah, but now it's appliances in there. We've got the store down here, which is kind of small, some of the smaller home goods. And there's even a section way back there. It's kind of a maze, but way back there is kind of some more like larger home goods. So things like shelving and couches, lighting, all that. It's a big facility, and then we've got storage. So there's some storage space that gets rented out to some local people in the community. Some space for some other businesses to store their materials, and then we've also got. Let's see. There's always something else too.
And a lot of employees that are helping you out, and volunteers too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, plenty of them. There's a lot of people from the community who like to stop by and volunteer. We've got a really solid team who's always here, kind of full-time workers, managing the store, the roastery, and also the appliance room is its own thing. And I can walk into here. I think it should be get locked here. Let's see, so this is the store, which is not technically open today, but it's got everything from kind of like a pharmacy to a drugstore to just like, obviously I was saying earlier, Amazon returns, so just about anything you could imagine. And I know I've returned things to Amazon that are in perfect good working order, which is the case with a lot of this stuff. And so definitely another place you can buy the coffee, buy any sort of like electronics, accessories, medical equipment, party equipment. It's just kind of a little bit of everything.
We've lost Raylene. She's already off browsing right now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So down here there's everything from, we've got
JP's Promising Goods. Look at this. In Johnson.
and everything in here is brand new. So we also have a donation area where people do drop off donations. We're kind of at a limit at the moment, but we've been having almost weekly rummage sales. So that's some really cool stuff at a killer price.
Wow.
And it all supports Jenna's Promise. So it's, if you're going to buy something, you might as well come try to buy it here first. It's supporting a great cause. And
Yeah, it does.
yeah, so yeah.
Did you get it back?
Yeah. So we'll.
What's up? Yeah. It's been me. I've walked through a good amount of the.
What an amazing place, Raylene.
Are you mic'd back up? Oh, mic'd back up.
There's the man right there, Greg Tatro. How are you, buddy?
I'm very well. How are you?
Great. Where are we going to interview you? Right here? Is this a good?
Wherever you want, we can wander around. And we can stand here. We can
Just
stand in the middle of the road. See if we
well,
can run over.
well, it probably would happen pretty quickly. So tell us about your story. We've been talking an awful lot with Andrew about coffee and Jenna's Promise Roasting, which is what an understatement, huh? Just incredible what you've done in just a matter of a couple of years. So 2019 was when your life changed. Tell us about that.
Well, we lost Jenna in February a couple of years ago. It'll be 3 years ago now, actually. And
That's your daughter.
Jenna was our daughter, yeah, Dawn and I. And she was a good kid, She grew up, good life and did a lot of good things. And she just got tangled up with the wrong people. And, once you get to disease of substance use disorder, sometimes it's hard to get out of it. And she fought like hell, and we did too, and we lost a battle. So, when we lose the battle, and then we figure out, well, we're not going to lose the war. So Dawn and I buckled down and said, what can we do to help people suffering the same way Jenna was suffering? So we started first with Jenna's house, an old Catholic church we picked up. That's kind of home base for us. And then we realized that people need not only a place to have meetings and gatherings, AA, NA, and family meetings, but also people who are suffering from substance use disorder need a safe place to live and a safe place to work. So then we went right to housing, and then we started this store. JP's Promising Goods was our first endeavor, and that's where we buy stuff, surplus stuff from all over the country, and the residents come in here and start sorting through it, and then when the stores open, they're here to help the customers. And then from there, we went to roasting coffee with Andrew, who you've met apparently, and that's coming along pretty good. The band Fish, Trey Anastasio, donated the roaster and the afterburner and some pieces and parts for us, so very thankful for that. And Andrew and I are, I guess, a two-man team at this point, but it's coming. I have a lot of other things that I do too, so I help him when I can, but it's coming pretty good.
State of Vermont, this beautiful, beautiful state, way up here in northern New England. We have a pretty serious opioid issue up here, and you guys are tackling or trying to tackle a massive, massive issue. I hope you got the attention of our governor, which, according to Andrew, you do.
Yeah, Governor Scott's been a huge support for us. He came out of the construction business just like I did, so we have a little bit of a past history. We kind of both did the same kind of work for a while, and our governor is a real down-to-earth fellow. He comes to these, to Jenna's house. We've had him over, I guess, once or twice now. Or we go down to the Montpelier and see him. He always welcomes us. He's very interested in innovative projects, no matter what it is in the state. And so when he sees something like this that's different and innovative, he's interested because, our death rate continues to climb.
It's 107 a day, right?
It's 220 in the year, I believe, in Vermont, just Vermont in the whole year.
Yeah.
But that's climbed from like 140 to 170 to 210. And so it kind of makes you wonder if what we're doing is working. And if we actually know what we're looking for in a way. Maybe we're looking for something that we haven't found yet to change this. Narcan's saving a lot of lives, but we're still continuing to climb. So that's something that's kind of discouraging in a way, because we are putting a lot into it. A lot of the recovery centers, the legislature is well aware. They're putting more money and time into it. People are working their hearts and souls out, but we're still on the losing end of things.
Yeah.
So, that's, to me, is another challenge of, okay, what do we got to do next?
Well, the thought of creating an incredible high-quality product that you're selling and using the proceeds of that to fund your big objective here is really impressive.
Yeah, well, I've been in business for a long time, and work is good for people. Some people, they may not think it is, but it is, because it gives you something to wake up for every day.
Purpose.
Gives you purpose. And you know what? You go and you do a job, you can feel good about it. So, when you go back to the recovery house, it kind of lifts you up. I'm a firm believer in that. And, it's a full circle, honestly, because as the store is doing quite well right now, actually, and showing a profit, and that money will all go back to Jenna's Promise. Like, we bought a little car, a little Subaru, and that this store can make that payment now. So it helps people get to the methadone clinic. It helps Andrew get out and sell coffee or deliver coffee. Helps girls get to meetings, and it's pretty impressive that the store can actually pay for that now. So it's working. The social enterprise part of this, it's already working. It's money that we don't have to gather donations for or go to the government, and it's already working. So we're pretty proud of that.
How many participants do you have at Jenna's house that are here getting recovery in Johnson and treatment and improving their lives and flicking the switch? Raylene was telling me you guys have a 98% success rate. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, the success rate's pretty good. I'm not sure it's quite that high right this minute, because we had a couple leave a couple weeks ago. You know, one girl was here, a resident, I should say, 4 months, and the other was 6 or 7. She was working. Go to check on them on a Sunday, and they're gone. Of course, they will reach back out, and Dawn, my wife, does most of that work, and you know they'll leave and probably relapse, and then in a couple of weeks they kind of come to their senses and call back, hey, can you help us? And so we're seeing that some, but yeah, we have a pretty good success rate. We have 7 residents right now. We got 2 open beds, but it's kind of a stepping stone. So you start out at the Ray of Hope, where there's a lot of rules and structure, and then you move, after you've been here for 6 months or so and you're working, you move to another house. So it's kind of a step up. That house has 2 open beds right now.
You can't rush recovery, can you?
No, it takes time, and you have to go slow. So here, sometimes they'll come and volunteer their time to begin with, and it may only be 4 or 5 hours a week, but it's something. It starts to get them on their feet. It starts to take time. Really, for the first three months or so, or 3 to 6 months, people are just trying to get their emotions back, because you know they've checked out for a while. So the drugs have covered up their emotions, and so that's it takes time. You know, they're up and down and up and down and up and down, and of course they are. So you got to level that out some, and they got to do the work. You know, Jenna's promised we can only help support and guide and encourage, but they have to do the work.
That's the conversation that we had driving up here today is, I mean, what a fantastic tool to have in your toolbox in a support network, but it really comes down to the individual wanting it badly enough, wanting sobriety badly enough to take the steps and be patient. And patience is key. You can, like we just said, you can't rush this.
Right. And I think, I used to tell Jenna that, if I could go send me away for 3 months, and if I could fix all this, I'd leave tomorrow.
Sure.
But it wouldn't have mattered. We did go to a few family programs throughout the country that helped us understand the disease a little bit more. And one of the things that we're very proud of here at Jenna's house, on every other Wednesday, we have a family program. So families can come in and talk about their struggles without anybody judging them. And there's people there that have gone through the process that can help people that are new to it. This Wednesday, tomorrow night, we actually combine the All Recovery meeting on Monday. That's a local group that started this in recovery. We combine them with the family program. So it's a great, it's just a great feeling, because parents that are in this battle too can actually ask people in recovery, hey, what was it that made you change? What would you recommend me as a parent do for my loved one?
Sure.
And it's just a wonderful thing. And we have that meeting, it's an hour and a half, and you almost got to shut the lights off and shoo them out of there because they want to stay forever.
Isn't that amazing? And there's common understanding among all of you.
Oh, absolutely. It's a beautiful thing. It just works for both sides. Like the parents can tell somebody in recovery, well, we were scared you were going to die.
Sure.
Because that's the way this game works. These folks that are using fentanyl today, you're playing Russian roulette. It might be your turn, it might not. But so it's really pretty cool. Yeah, and that's one of the things I'm most proud of. Plus the new moms program, which they just renamed the family program, I guess, or new parents program, I guess they call it now. you see the kids in there, and you know that there's a chance that that kid might have a better life. You know, that's the coolest thing ever, because you're changing generations. And it's pretty neat. Yeah.
So we're only a couple of years into Jenna's Promise. It's amazing that this has been propelled so quickly. And man, are there others in Vermont that are doing stuff like this?
I'm not sure. They a lot of the other recovery affiliated people are starting to call this the village model, and we never thought that, but I guess it kind of is. I'm not sure there is right now, but there is a lot of supports out there for people. I'm just not sure it's all combined with the way we're doing things. Yeah. But I think it will be in a little bit of time if we can prove that this model is successful. And then I think you'll see more people. We've had people call us and say, hey, how'd you do this and that? But, you know, it takes, Don and I are very determined people. And, you know, when somebody tells us no, we just kind of kick them in the ass and say, well, you better get out of the way because we're coming through.
Love that.
And
Love that.
That's how we operate. And, you know, people that say, my dad always told me growing up, he said, there's no such word as can't. You know, you can have a whole pile of excuses, but no such word as can't. And that's the way we run this too, that no such word as can't. We're going to keep going.
You got the cafe that's going to be opening soon. Andrew was telling us maybe in a couple of months.
Yes. Yeah.
In Johnson?
Yeah, it's right over down the street here. It's an old building. We fixed it up with help of the government, CBDG grant. They gave us $500,000. And then the Hoole Foundation gave us another $500,000. It split up $250 this year and $250 next year. And that's going to be $1 million project. But so we've had a lot of support. And that building is going to be the queen of the town when we're done. There's no question. So, and there's also going to be 8 more recovery beds over the top. So that'll push us up to 16, 17, 18 beds in town.
This is amazing. So what percentage, wait for this truck to pass us here, what percentage of the proceeds from the coffee are going into Jenna's Promise?
Well, it'll be 100% of the profits. Yeah. So like Don and I, we don't take any salaries. My son Gregory and my daughter-in-law Amy, they put a ton of time into this. We don't pay ourselves. It's, you know, there's a few employees like Andrew who's trying to make a living, and we need him. Of course, we got to pay him. Sure. The managers here, and actually the folks in recovery that work in the store or with Andrew, they get paid. But you know, we just work and. You know, we have a passion about this because we don't have Jenna, right? So we don't want families to suffer like we had to suffer. Yeah. So we're doing what we can. But all the profits go back to Jenna's Promise. And that's what's going to make us sustainable, right? So we'll still need a few grants and we'll still need donations to make it whole. But we're going to work like hell to do everything we can do to help, too.
So 501c3, I'm guessing.
Yeah, jennaspromise.org. You can go on our website, and that'll kind of lead you around. JP's Promising Goods on there, and Andrew's got his own website, I think.
Yep, we mentioned that earlier.
Oh, good.
Jenna's Promise.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, it's coming. But the best part is watching people grow. You know, of course. You know, you haven't met my good friend Brandon here. He's been here for 10 months now. He does all the appliances and gets stuff ready. And to see where he came from 10 months ago to where he is today, you know, if that's the only person we save, I'm okay with it. But we're going to save a ton more.
Do you want to ask him anything? Thank you so much for having us here, man. This has really been an experience and you know, as we said to Andrew, there's so many facets of win here. You know, this is much more than just a win-win. There's so many wins here. Can't keep track of them.
Yeah. Well, we typically don't play the game to lose. So, you know, we're going to keep fighting as hard as we can. And, you know, we will lose a few folks along the way, but we hope there's a lot more that we win. And we thank you guys for coming out here.
Well,
it's a little trek for you.
Yeah, no, it's our great pleasure. And you know, if you come up here, you're going to be in the store for a little while. So carve out some time out of your day. You'll be in there for a bit. And you know, like I said to Andrew, the absolute bare minimum of all of this is, and Dick Wabi, who is a huge fan, by the way, if you guys said to us, at the absolute least, you're going to have a fantastic cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah. Andrew's making some good coffee. I definitely recommend anybody listening to reach out and try a bag, because I think once you try one, we're going to get you hooked and you're going to buy a little more. That's hooked in a good
He's a little bit of a coffee snob, isn't he?
He can be. He gets out there and he's trying a lot of different things, and some of it's over at my head. You know, I'm kind of a light roast kind of guy, medium light, and I'm okay with a couple blends. He has a local blend in the Divided Sky, which is named after Trey Anastasio, and I like those two. And he's got some fancier stuff that for some people, but for me, I'm okay with those two blends.
You guys are getting you're getting some momentum here and getting some attention. We would love to see you get more, man. It's like there should be some TV crews up here running cameras on you guys, what you're doing. This is amazing.
Yeah, we have got a lot of public attention, and you know, one of the things that we appreciate from that attention is that it helps people in recovery, and it helps people understand about recovery.
That's the bottom line, yeah.
And then we've had Bernie Sanders here. Of course, the governor's a huge supporter. Mr. Leahy's been a huge supporter. Mr. Welch has been here a few times, and you know, the reason we do that is to give people suffering from substance use disorder a voice. It's not about Don or I.
That's right. Because
we don't want to lose sight of the people we're trying to help. You know, sometimes politics, they start, you know, oh, you got this, I didn't get that, and going on and on. But, you know, the whole reason for this is the people we're helping.
Yeah.
It's not about us.
Right. It's even more so, even not about the coffee.
Well, coffee's pretty important.
It is.
We want to sell more coffee so that we can help more people.
Well, there you go. That's true. But the bottom line is it's about the people.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you meet some of these folks here that have really come a long ways, that just makes your day.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It's just not a cheap endeavor to do something like this.
No.
There's a lot of work.
Well, there's a lot of work. Don and I earmarked $1 million of our money for this project in the beginning, and I don't know if we've gone through with that and added some more or not. I haven't dared to look.
She's not telling.
but you know, we're very fortunate, and we've had some business deals and on a gas line project that brought in a ton of money, and you know what? We don't need it. We don't need that money. We've got enough to retire, and anything extra, if we can help people out, that's better than. Who the hell wants to just pile up money all over the place? What good's that? You know, if you can't put it back into your community and help people in need, I don't know. That's not the life I want to live.
And you're doing all of that in memory and in honor of your daughter, Jenna.
Yes, yeah. Well, she would have probably got a pretty good inheritance, so shoot, we might as well throw it out here and let other people have a little, you know, and help them. It's mostly about just giving them a leg up. Yeah. And it costs a lot of money, and we know we're never going to get that money back, nor do we want it. So, you know, we're just going to keep doing what we can do to change the paradigm of how addiction's treated and looked at in this state. Yeah. One of the first things we did was worry about the people that think these people that are suffering from substance use disorder are terrible people. So we're trying to reduce the stigma. And we always said we're going to speak loud about our situation with Jenna, her situation, because if we hide, that's just what the drug dealers want.
Sure, of course.
So they want everybody to be quiet and come in and sell their drugs and actually murder our people. And everybody just stays quiet and doesn't say anything. Well, that's not going to happen here.
Yeah. You guys are destroying those barriers, man, and you're doing such a great job at it. It's amazing.
Thank you. I think one of the greatest compliments we've had is one of the reporters said once that you're actually giving people a reason to speak.
Yeah.
You've given them permission to speak, and we do, because you can't hide from this stuff. And the more open we are and the more we talk about it, the better chance we have of success. Like I said, if we're just going to shut ourselves in the closet and let these folks take over, we're never going to win this battle. So, yeah, we got to stay open.
JennasPromise.org
Yes.
and JennasPromiseRoasting.com
Yes.
are the two sites that you should check out.
Yes.
Greg Tatro.
And come visit in person.
Absolutely.
Yes, please do. Just about, 10, 15 minutes from Morrisville.
Yeah.
Amazing what you're doing, my man. Amazing.
Well, one last thing. When we had our open house, Trey Anastasio from Fish, he's a famous fellow. He did a video for us, and he wandered on for about 13 minutes ago, and then he said this. When he got pulled over for opioid use, he had to go through a program, and a nurse told him, "You're not a bad person trying to get better. You're a sick person trying to get healthy." So if you remember that when you see somebody suffering from substance use disorder or alcoholism, they're not a bad person trying to get better. They're a sick person trying to get healthy. So support those people the best of your abilities.
Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
So much. So impressive to see what you guys have here. We're just blown away, and we hope that our listeners and our viewers will share this episode as much as possible. Thank you guys for having us here.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.